Hey, we're cooking with gas here on the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakken af een jam.
Nebbig.
Verpoepoepoe.
Vermischt.
Verkakt.
Vertut.
Verstonken.
Fartig.
Exactly.
You're what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Oh my goodness gracious. Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of American Jew. Oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe it, but we have gone into double digits. It's our 10th episode.
Amazing. We did it.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yes. Hello, ladies and Jews. To our next episode. This is, I feel like it's an accomplishment to have made it to 10.
Yeah, you feeling good about it?
I do.
All right. Well, I'm feeling all right, too. A lot's been going on in the world,
There's-
and we've been talking about all things Jewishness, and we're hoping the more episodes we do, the less hatred we'll get and the more love we will receive, because we certainly are trying to put love out there in the world for Jewish people, for non-Jewish people, for all people. And we're hoping that all people spread love to all races. Of course, there's anti-Semitism going on everywhere.
We haven't found any anti-Semitism on the moon yet.
Not on the moon, and I guess Israel, we're getting there. We're getting there today, tomorrow.
Bereshit, the Israeli satellite, is going to be setting down on the moon tomorrow, apparently. It's currently orbiting. I guess it's looking for a parking spot. I don't know.
Is that what is happening?
Yeah.
I think it needed to stop for like a bagel and a schmear before it landed.
Right. But that's exciting. You know, we're only going to be it's only the fourth satellite to touch down on the moon, so we're going to have that in our cap.
Yeah, good for us Jews. I mean, I guess. I mean, Israel, of course, it's just probably going to bring more hatred to people, and they're going to have more weird conspiracy theories of now we're on the moon and we have a satellite. Like, we're really going to try to take over the world or do something crazy. I don't even know. But anyways,
I think it's exciting. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Oh, hey, one small step for man, one giant leap for Jew kind.
There you go. And we also are about to, it seems like, have a Jewish president in the Ukraine. And he's a comedian.
This is crazy. I feel like this guy started as a joke, this Ukrainian comedian running for president, and I guess the guy that they had or is running against is so awful or hated that, like, this comedian is actually going to become the president. Apparently, he's on some TV show in Ukraine where he plays, like, the parody of a politician or something, and this is some, like, life-imitating art situation. Or maybe in Ukraine, they're just really dumb, and they thought that this whole parody show where they're like, whoa, this guy's got some real serious experience right now.
Yeah, well, there's not too many comedians who have run for offices before, but there is precedent.
I mean, Donald Trump is a joke.
Right, but I mean,
Ronald Reagan was an actor.
Reagan was an actor. You had Schwarzenegger, actor. But then also, what's his name?
Al Franken.
Al Franken
was
a comedian.
Yeah, he wasn't a president, but I think he was in like the Senate.
Right, he was in the Senate. And back in the day, the Smothers Brothers, they put out a fake candidate, Pat Paulson. Do you remember him? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea, Jordan. I'm old, but I'm not that old that I remember what the Smothers Brothers did. Well, you know, last night, Jordan, I went to the King's Theater in Flatbush, Brooklyn, to see the Beastie Boys story.
No sleep till.
Yeah, that's right. And it was fantastic. And, of course, the Beastie Boys are Jewish.
Yeah.
Jewish rappers that were actually pioneers in the rap industry. Paul's Boutique is known as kind of, you know, while it was a flop at the time, it's one of the greatest rap albums kind of all time. It really was cutting edge. People referred to it as like the pet sounds of hip hop. And it was amazing to hear the story about how these three New York Jewish kids rose to become some, influential rappers, and they're also white boys too, so it was really nice to be there and to be inspired by other Jewish people that have contributed amazing music to the world and have also done some really great causes. So that was a real thrill for me, as being a diehard Beast Boy fan from when I was a youngster.
Were there a lot of Jews in the audience?
I mean, I didn't see a lot of kippahs and tzitzit, but I presume that there were a lot of Jews. I mean, there was an intermission, but it wasn't breaking for some sort of prayer services.
I always like License to Ill is, I think, my favorite album of theirs.
Their first album.
Yeah, License to Ill.
Really? Not. I'm Paul's Boutique all the way. But it's funny you say License to Ill because they really talked about how like that was kind of them just messing around and being silly and having fun. But as the time progressed, they were kind of like, this isn't who we are. This isn't indicative of the people we want to be. And they almost became ashamed of that album. And that actually led to them leaving Def Jam and partying with Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, who kind of like made them who they were. You know, they were one of the first artists on Def Jam,
right?
And they didn't want to like be a part of that anymore because they wanted to have a little bit more depth. They did it, and it's horrible. You know, rest in peace, MCA. He was missed last night at the show, but it was a fantastic show. I'm sure they were recording it, so they are going to probably, you know, come out with like a DVD or video Netflix special, and I definitely recommend everybody get it. It was heartwarming, inspirational. It was funny. It was moving. It was just an amazing show, an amazing experience, and Beastie Boys for life.
We need to get some more politicians using their songs as anthems, I guess.
Yes, and hopefully it's not sabotage.
Right.
Hopefully we got some other like good Jewish stuff going on besides this horrible measles outbreak that's going on that's getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, the measles outbreak, it has gone up 100% in the last week, as it turns out.
100% more measles.
Yeah, like another 80 cases were reported this week.
Jew measles.
Yeah, the Jew measles.
That is really horrible. I mean, and so you were saying that the Jewish people don't want to get vaccines because there's like pig in the vaccine?
Well, one of the things that I read was saying that there's this misinformation that's being spread amongst the Orthodox Jewish community telling them not to vaccinate their kids because vaccines contain DNA from other animals, including pigs, rats, and monkeys.
Where do they get this information from?
I did read somewhere that somebody said that while there are trace amounts of that stuff in some of those vaccines, they're diluted to such a point in a vaccine that it's a negligible amount, that it's not trafe.
Yeah, but is that how trafe works? I thought that was by eating food. You can't like use it for like a vaccine. I mean, I never heard of that, but
no, I never heard of it either.
but I guess
I'm also not an ultra Orthodox Jew.
Right, these are very strict ultra Orthodox.
You and I have
Jews.
discussions about parts of the Torah that you have understanding of that I don't even know about. So there's definitely shit that I learned just from you about Judaism.
I mean, it just it almost breaks my heart for like these kids that are growing up with these parents that are going to let them suffer with measles because of these like weird laws that they think they have to have or whatever. And, I think it's very interesting how a lot of times the Jews will say, of course there's this whole thing, God works in mysterious ways or whatever. And they say, oh, well, like when we were talking about the story of Purim, like God didn't do this directly, but he was kind of like, playing the puppets in the back and like making these things happen. So why can't they accept that like maybe God is making these vaccines for us so we won't get these sicknesses and these diseases instead of just like healing us right away? The problem is that this vaccine is spreading to non-Jewish people, and that's why I guess de Blasio has said that a lot of, like, if you have it, you can't go to schools, and if you haven't had vaccines, like, you can't go to the school right now. Like, they got to stop the spreading. I mean, I don't know. In America, I haven't heard of a measles outbreak. They
said that they got rid of measles in like the year 2000.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess they're back.
It's back.
And more Jewish than ever. So we got elections. The election happened in Israel, huh?
Netanyahu looks like he got reelected.
He's going to get reelected.
Looks that way.
Okay, so it's a big possibility. Hey, but people thought Hillary was going to get elected, so maybe Netanyahu won't get elected. I know there's stuff that he accepted money or maybe bribes and that he was going to be indicted on some things, and people thought that he wasn't going to win because of that, but apparently he's doing good. I know that he was really, really playing to like the right and the ultra-Orthodox Jewish people and really trying to be for annexing any of the Palestinian areas of Israel and really kind of going hard with that to get, again, I mean, he's been prime minister for a while now. I guess Israel doesn't have this 2-term law.
Right. This apparently is going to be his 5th term.
His 5th term.
If he wins, yeah.
Wow. And all right. And he's buddies with, of course, Trump, and I guess he has a lot of support from the Republicans. And I mean, I hope Netanyahu does a good job in Israel, but I guess I don't agree with his views on the Palestinian people, and I think he's putting us in the wrong direction. And an article I read about there are different types of Jews, and I definitely am the one in the article that is looking to have peace with our Palestinian brothers rather than have all of Israel and have this be our land and be stubborn about it. I was walking down the street the other day on Delancey Street, and I was in the middle of the road. I thought I would make the light, but I didn't make the full light. And I was actually stopped by a rabbi. He asked me if I was Jewish, and I said I was Jewish. And
it's your first mistake.
Yeah, right. I was there, and of course, doing this podcast, it's opened me up a little bit more to Jewish people and talking to them and seeing what I could gather from them and what I could, share with them.
Did you ask him if he wants to be a guest on the show?
I did not get that far with him, but he asked me if I wanted to put on Tefillin. And I said no, and he was a little pushy. And I said, okay, what the hell? I had nothing to do. I had some time. He took me to some restaurant and a hotel that was empty that apparently knows some kosher restaurant, put on the tefillin with me, did all the prayers, invited me to his Seder, invited me to his house Friday night. He says he has chicken and vodka every Friday night if I want to come over. Gave me his card. We put on the tefillin. He wanted to take a selfie with me.
It's
with
hard
the
to tell.
tefillin.
Hard to tell sometimes if these really Orthodox Jews are really helping you to become more Jewish by doing these mitzvahs, or if they're really just lonely.
That's a good point.
It sounds like he really just wanted somebody to talk to.
Maybe, but I guess it's a mitzvah for him to have another Jew partake, and I guess he said it was a mitzvah for me, and he was a nice guy. He gave me some matzah for Pesach. He gave me some matzah for Pesach just in case, and I guess I hadn't put on tefillin in a long, long time, so it was interesting to have that experience. But he told me that it would bring me luck and bring good things to my life, so I'm really hoping that happens.
I got tefillin put on me once on the subway. I was on the train, and these guys were so insistent. And we were where was I going? I was on the train. They just did it right there.
Had you ever put them on before?
I had done it years ago.
Okay.
What is it exactly, tefillin? Because I know it's like the leather strap, and you wrap it around your arm, and then there's another strap around your head, and there's like a little box with
I
the
guess
prayer
the box
in it.
has prayers in it, and I'm not sure actually what it totally symbolizes. I know it has a lot of different symbolism, with the amount of loops that you put around your arm and the way you put it around your fingers and the blessings that you say. But I guess it has to do with, your prayers. You're supposed to wear them during the morning prayers every day of the week, I think, except for Saturday. And I think it just has to do with, bringing you closer to God with the prayers, and it's more of like a ritual.
So it feels more like you're trying to cut off the bloodstream to the head and the arm.
Yeah, you probably have to do that if you want to believe some of the stuff that they want you to believe.
Pins and needles I had in my hand. Pins and needles.
I once showed it to a girl I was dating, and she asked me if it was an S&M thing.
It does have that look.
Yeah. Well, I tied her up somewhere with it, and I left. So this week's Parsha is kind of like picking up about last week's, right? We're talking more about the lepers.
It's more about lepers and also then about discharge. So, I guess if you have
not discharge from the army or anything.
No,
right?
From the genitals.
From the genitals. So I think it's like from what I gathered, after you have sex as a man, you have to go to the mikvah, and the women have to go to the mikvah, during their period, during the time of month, I guess. So they're pure again. And then I guess it also picks up stuff with, when you're sick, what the rabbis, the priests, the Kohanes, what they do to help you. I thought that was really interesting when I was reading what the procedure was to get rid of, I guess, the leprosy, which involved like 2 birds, spring water, an earthen vessel, a piece of cedar wood, a scarlet thread, and a bundle of hyssop, some mint,
an eye of newt, and skin of dragon.
Yeah, I know. Like, is this some like Harry Potter stuff right
Seriously.
here? I think they
You have to go to Narnia and get a feather.
Yeah, they teach this stuff at Hogsworth. This really does seem like some like witchcraft or some voodoo stuff. And then apparently the same thing, like it could get in your house or something. And then the rabbi has to decide, like, if you just take away part of your house or like demolish the whole house.
Right.
These diseases are weird.
Right. If you have leprosy, you might have to redesign your whole kitchen.
That's true. That'd be funny if right now, like on House Hunters today. Oh no, this has leprosy. This totally has to go.
This house has a plague upon it. Well, so I think it's almost ironic, as I was saying to you before we turned the mics on, that there's this measles outbreak because these ultra-Orthodox Jews are refusing to vaccinate their kids, and it happens to be at the same time of year that we're reading stuff in the Torah about what to do if you find your kids having measles.
Well, if you
find them having leprosy.
Oh, I mean, well, it says leprosy. I guess in the Bible, it's some other disease. Like, it doesn't really clarify, but I guess what the prophets interpreted it to be was leprosy. So, yeah, I mean, it is a weird coincidence. So, I mean, I hope at least those Orthodox Jews are trying to get, the 2 birds and the scarlet thread and, the mint flour to get rid of the leprosy and everything.
I guess.
But I'm pretty certain that you can't pray that stuff away. Yeah. Have you ever been to mikvah?
No, I've hung out outside one.
Really? What were you doing hanging out outside? Was that just a gay steam bath, Jordan?
No, I figure if you hang out outside a mikvah, when a woman comes out, she's pure.
Oh, okay. That's where you like to go pick up girls?
Well, there also used to be one right next to Stand Up New York.
Oh, okay.
So I was... Spike, it was convenient.
Which is also a great comedy club that is owned by Jews, and I perform there regularly, so I do recommend anyone interested in stand-up comedy to go check out Stand Up New York.
My rabbi came and saw me there once and commented on the fact that there was a mikveh next door.
Oh, really? So, yeah, so if you had a really bad set and you bombed, then you can go to the mikveh and feel better.
I guess.
Thanks for tuning in for our 10th episode. We're hoping to keep going strong. If you have any questions or anything you think you'd like for us to discuss, please email us, AmericanJewPodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on social media. We're at American Jew Podcast, except on Twitter. We're at American Jew Pod. I'm, of course, Jonathan Randall on Instagram at Jonathan Randall.
And I'm Jordan Ferber. You can find me on Instagram at BeatnikNudnik. Get your kids vaccinated so they don't get measles.
And get in all the bread you can because Pesach's coming up next week.
Yeah, seriously, start buying your matzah now because I hear they put the prices up next week.
Later.